Hi, I'm DJ Fosta, and you are watching Analog Culture.
Good day, everybody, and hello out there at home. My name is DJ Ndo-C, and today we are out in Kwa Langa with DJ Fosta, co-founder of Bridges for Music. Hey, but like your while I was researching, like your itinerary is huge. It's huge. It's huge. You played at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
You've played Boiler Room. Like there's a lot that you've done, man. And today I just felt good. No, let me come and talk to Foster and get your story, man, into building into the culture and your contributions into the culture, which is very much appreciated by a lot of people that I've met.
Cool, cool. Now,
Yeah.
thanks for having me, Ndo-C, on your show, and yeah, man. Hi to your viewers as well. Yeah, as much as you say, I'm quite involved in quite a number of stuff, but originally known as Foster, and then, a music producer, and then a DJ,
Yeah.
and an entertainer, and then later on, kind of like grew into more of the industry space itself, from coordinating and now kind of like involved in education as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, around the industry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, from when did you decide? I know your dad was a piano player,
Yeah,
so that influence of your music would have came from home directly.
yeah.
Now you got that in your background. You're making music. When do you decide? Right, I want to become one of those DJs that's going to shoot through the roof.
Well, I think like from where go, man. Because I remember I kind of got inspired, especially like in the genre of dance music around '96.
Yeah,
Because prior to that, because I grew up in the jazz, background, and kind of like my dad being a jazz musician, and my uncles, the Nyokana brothers. I kind of like around '96, Kwaito was bubbling, and '95 actually to '96, and that's when I kind of like started feeling like falling in love with the dance,
yeah,
the dance music. And I remember, I think it was '98, '97, when I actually started producing more of the Kwaito sound as well.
yeah,
I started a group called Genders with my current partner of O2 Records, Uskal.
yeah, yeah,
Cindy Saktima, yes, man. And yeah, I guess from then, it was part of the love. And I remember even prior to that, I think around '96, I was I started kind of like DJ. And because obviously I didn't have like vinyls or CDs and stuff like that. I'm not
yeah,
sure if CDs were still around or the originals, but I used to kind of like record my music from Metro FM,
yeah,
Metro at
yeah,
the time, like listening to the top 20, the national top 20 on Fridays, and then kind of like get to record all the new songs, the Kwaito songs, and
old
then
school piracy.
exactly. And then also like later on, whenever there's like a braai at home, or like someone, a close friend, a family friend who has something, then I would use my cassettes, to start playing
Yeah,
weddings and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically how I got into it. And then from there, you're listening to radio a lot and kind of like following the industry.
yeah, yeah,
And there's quite a lot of people that actually inspired me. From your Ata Mafukate, your Kalawa Chairs, the whole label,
yeah,
and 24/7 too. Because also, while growing up, I always wanted to also run a label. It was one of my dreams to become, the music producer.
yeah.
The label owner, and then the DJ. On its own. But yeah,
Uh,
basically that was the inspiration.
how do
And
you?
obviously, with my family playing a huge role,
Yeah,
with me being involved fully like in music, because I also play a piano,
yeah,
and that was basically inspired by my dad, because my dad was such an amazing piano player.
yeah, yeah, yeah. With so much, ne? DJ, you're mentoring, you're running a label, you're running the school. How do you manage all of that?
It's actually not easy. It's actually not easy, and actually, like funny enough, talking about that and not being easy, managing quite a lot of stuff, and also even my life itself
Yeah.
is not quite easy. And I'm even now, I'm currently in a process, where I'm kind of like trying to realign, myself, and obviously, like my mental well-being as well.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
after my mental well-being, because it happens at times that we kind of like want to push and keep pushing and pushing, and eventually, your body or your brain can only take so much.
Can only take so much.
You know, so I've kind of like have gone through, that like that experience, and I kind of like came to a point whereby I needed to take a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm basically just going through the process. I wish I could share much,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but I guess it's one of the most important things that we kind of like don't talk about. The mental health, and
Yeah.
mental well-being.
Yeah.
Because it can kind of like be dangerous. I mean, we've seen it ourselves, in the past, within the industry. So, yeah, I mean, I myself have kind of like taken certain decisions, for my life to kind of like try and keep up. However, but to come back to your question, it hasn't been easy, honestly.
Yeah.
Because at some point, you have to drop a certain thing, and focus on another thing. Just a typical example, with our company O21 Records, when Bridges started, I then had to kind of like let go with certain things. Hence, we haven't been producing much, like in the past years and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since the songs that we've released. However, we kind of like still working, towards, and we currently like regrouped again, and working on some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to, I'm gonna come back to some of the questions I have. It's just that you touched on one of those sensitive topics as a mental health. Are you also guys giving mentorship on that in the school to say, guys, as much as in Fungoba DJ and you want to be producers, in the industry you're going to meet up with social media bullying, you're going to meet up with boardroom bullying, you're going to meet up with challenges that are going to cause this, and this is what we warn against. Do you have something in Analogue that you do here at the school?
Yes. We've got a, a wonderful program which is called the Music MBA, which is like a 6 months course, and 40% of that course focuses on sound, which is music production and live sound.
Yeah.
And live performance, and then the other 40% focuses on entrepreneurship. Meanwhile, the 20% of that curriculum focuses on mindfulness.
Yeah.
That's where we kind of like focus on the well-being of our students. Starting like a day-to-day session, like from a meditation session that we host with our co-creators.
Nice.
Our students basically, and then we kind of like do a check, because most of our students actually that we're dealing with are kind of like students that are coming from experience of trauma,
Yeah.
And I mean that's quite a common thing here in South Africa, and most of us actually, even I myself, I come from that background. So it's very very important, to kind of like look after, that, and kind of like give them the necessary tools to actually deal with it on a daily basis, so that they could kickstart their day, on a positive note, and be able basically to kind of like control their minds.
Yeah, you really care about your students.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, if the program now with them running, and well, one student finishes now, do you guys ensure that they jump into the industry, or is it a matter with, we've given you all the tools that you might need, you can go fend now?
Well, we actually do also run an employment pathway, a program that's kind of like designed to kind of like give the students a first hand experience, probably after completing the course. And also, I mean, during the time that they are here as well, we kind of like link them up to festivals that we are aligned with within the Bridges networks, and we're still going out there looking for more corporates to kind of like create those partnerships, and kind of like, getting our students to kind of like get the first-hand experience, because nowadays the most important thing, is to kind of like have an experience in order to be able to sustain yourself. So that's one of the most points that we kind of like focus on. as their employment pathway.
Sheesh. Bro, you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
For you, it's like a day-to-day thing. For me, what I'm listening to now is you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. No, I'm very happy that kind of a situation is happening.
Sure. I guess like also, like the purpose of the actual program is to kind of like create a job readiness.
Yeah.
Because we feel that the current education system as well, doesn't have those necessary tools. Not that we're saying, it's not relevant. But it doesn't have those necessary tools because we're talking, the 21st century skills now.
Yeah.
That, everyone, the fourth industrial, that everyone kind of like needs to be ready for.
Yeah.
Technically, like tech ready as well. Your digital tools as well. Like Google tools and so forth.
Yeah.
I mean, we also focus on digital marketing. We touch a bit on there. And also the most important, creative relationships.
That's great, man. Valentin.
Mm-hmm.
How do you meet Valentin?
Well, I met, I think, about 10 years ago now. So basically, Valentino had come down, on a sabbatical leave. And he decided to come down to South Africa. And originally, he's from Spain.
Yeah.
He came down on a sabbatical leave, and he happened to do a Langa tour, the township tour. And he kind of like, so as he did the tour, he kind of like saw the vibe that the music had, in the township, and the impact it had, especially on the young people. And he actually noticed that and kind of like was quite interested to know more about people that were involved, within the music scene around Langa. And he was introduced to me in that way. And after the introduction, we kind of like kept in contact. And I think a year later, there came an idea that he had, having been in the industry in Ibiza, prior to that, he then came with an idea of kind of like using his networks and bringing all the world-renowned DJs, and I think the first one was Richie Horton and Black Coffee to kind of like host workshops basically to try and empower and develop young talents from the township, through those DJs telling their stories. And that was the first, and 9 years later, we're here.
Here we are. Yeah, man, that's actually cool. I think I can't remember where I saw this. You had Black Coffee here in a session here, conversation.
Yeah. Actually, that was the very first one, the one that I'm talking about. I think it was 2013, 2012. Somewhere there.
How do you feel meeting Abantu Abafana no Black Coffee?
Well, it's quite an inspiration, honestly. It's quite an inspiration because, sometimes when I look at my life, and where I am, it's unbelievable, man, because, I mean, a typical example, there's people still in the industry that inspired me back in the days, in the 90s. And now having to seeing that, you're not far away from them, with the opportunities that life has given me. It's very inspiring, honestly, and very encouraging. And I so wish, my life could be a great example, as much as I'm not perfect as well. But my life could be a great example, for another young kid in Ekasi that, that it's possible that you can do it. I mean, looking back at my life, how I grew up, and also having to be affected, with a crime life where I kind of like ended up in prison and serving a sentence, but was able, after that, to kind of like change my life and become the person I am. I so wish my life basically could be an inspiration to another young kid as well.
I guarantee you, your life is an inspiration to a lot. When you say the people that you looked up to in the industry, and now they're very close. In a sense, I feel closer to the people that you've met because I know you.
Sure.
You already are an inspiration. You're already an inspiration to me, man. Like, what you've done is there's a lot of people in the industry that's still looking to do what you've achieved so far, and they don't see the light nor the direction. But I mean, I think the first time I saw you with Slice Scoop, that wasn't the first time. But there was an event in Boiler Room.
Yeah.
Jesus. I was like, yay. Look at that. Look at that. That's Cape Town in itself.
Sure.
Bringing it closer to that now. Where have you played Which one first was your ultimate gig? Lao Watuchi, you were playing and you were like, damn, I made it.
Yo, hey, that's a very difficult one. It's quite a difficult one because, for me, Ndo-C, almost all my performances, all the gigs, regardless how many people there are on the dance floor, for me, like I feel like I'm making it, every time, and that's what my mind, I can't like keep on my mind because I can't like don't size,
The events
and the sets, yes, and I think that's what has helped me, because I remember even back in the days with 021 when we were still even hitting the stage, like performing with my singing. We never had like sized events, based on the type of event or the number of people or the audience that would be there.
Yeah.
We always wanted, it was always our drive that let's always give it, 150%. Yeah, but I mean, just to mention a few highlights, Glastonbury, playing at Glastonbury, recently playing at Swaziland, the Boiler Room, Sona, Cape Town, and Amsterdam as well. In Amsterdam, the sky top, Malawi as well. So yeah, man.
Now keep counting. I'm listening. I keep counting. I'm still listening.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's quite a number. It's quite a number of highlights. Also just coming back to like to the point, the previous question as well. Like my life has kind of like had a lot of highlights. When was it? I think a year or two ago. I had an opportunity of producing one of the songs on the reunion of Bongo Muffin.
Wow.
Like that on its own. As I said, coming back on the previous question, Bongo Muffin back in the days, those were people that I was, listening to and was inspired by, but a few years later, So that for me was a highlight on its own, and also like it's a legendary group. It's not just
It is.
and also being involved in such a project,
Yeah.
and also with a powerful name song, because the name of the song is Champion Sound.
Nice.
So it's number 10 on that album.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. There's a lot of people that still wish to get to that point where they produce for. You've actually produced for one of your inspirations.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there's somebody sitting somewhere saying, I would like to produce a song that will be on Black Coffee's album, or something of another. Like you've done a lot of work. In terms of vibe now and reception of music and choice of sound you play, in all the countries that you've played in, how do you feel it compares to South Africa when it comes to the sound? Because obviously you've been in events whereby majority of the sets are either techno, electro, deep house, or Afro type of sound.
Yeah, well, for me, the thing is, like, I'm quite exposed to a lot of events. So, but honestly, South African sound like stands alone. It's got like South African's got a unique taste, and sound on its own. And I guess that's one of the reasons actually I would be experiencing an event outside of South Africa. It's because I'm booked to kind of like share or entertain with the South African sound. But in the past years I've been very excited, seeing South African sound grow. I remember even in 2014 when I played it in Glastonbury, playing a back-to-back set with Skrillex. I was actually playing Gqom.
Nice.
And I think I was one of the first DJs actually to play Gqom, and actually how Skrillex actually loved that type of music. So I think South African music stands a huge chance, in the international scene, and I think we're still gonna do more.
Yeah.
There's still a lot that's still to come out of here, because the dance scene has been quite crazy of our Afro tech, and as we were watching that, you can't like sing Amapiano, overtaking, but I still feel the Afro tech is not done yet, and there's still more sounds coming out. Yeah, and I mean, look at the whole Africa now, being inspired by South African sound. And slowly but surely, we're getting to the rest of the other continents.
Yeah, yeah. In advising someone who's coming into the game, or in advising someone who's been in the game but progress is not yet there. For instance, you get a student completes his courses and he starts doing his thing. What would your advice be for him to get to platforms as Fananabo, Sona, or maybe playing at High Ibiza or on an Anjuna Deep event? Because generally the route on how to get to those kind of festivals is a tad bit construed in a sense. It's either you've got the right connects or you don't. So in essence, how do you advise umuntu ophume, like someone coming out of school fresh saying, I want to be one of those DJs that gets to play Burning Man? Yeah. Like what would be the route and channel that you would advise? Try this, try that, do this, do that. That's how you would get there.
Yeah, well, for me is like, firstly, don't fool yourself. Don't create expectations that you're not gonna achieve. Be realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, it could take you 10 years to get to your dream. So what I would advise, really start from the bottom.
Yeah.
And when I mean bottom, I mean like, okay, let's make a typical example. Let's make an example of a local South African event that you have access to. Firstly, because there's no way that you're gonna play at Burning Man if you've never hit the most biggest festival in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yes, and also how you get there. As much as you're a DJ, but maybe your first access to that event might not be as a DJ.
Yeah.
Maybe you might have to work as part of the staff members.
Yeah.
And when I say part of the staff members, you could be a runner, at the stage, behind the scenes, So as much as I say, you need to be realistic. And I think a lot of our youngsters kind of like have a mistake, or the upcoming guys have a mistake of aiming so high and not kind of like looking around. Because I mean, for me, just to make a typical example, I remember when I came out of prison and I kind of like wanted working experience. I knew that I could produce music. I knew that I'm going to have a label, and I knew what I was capable of. But however, what I was like, even before opening a label, I want to have a working experience. And I remember I then signed up at Pick and Pay as a shelf packer.
Yeah.
No, actually, prior to Pick and Pay, I actually started as a cleaner at Stones. Stones is one of the pubs, locally. I was a cleaner, And I mean, one of the reasons why I was a cleaner at Stones had a DJ set up, and stuff. So I would rock up there early and start playing and stuff like that. And when my shift started, I'm back on the shift cleaning and stuff. And I remember one day a DJ didn't rock up, and then I covered, a couple of minutes. However, I left there, worked at Pick and Pay as a shelf packer, and kind of like was able to get, to kind of like save some money. And I remember the first time, just after we had produced Kulula, the song that was well received, I then resigned at Pick and Pay.
Yeah.
And took all that money, to kind of like carry me out on the first couple of months. And the first time we got an opportunity when I was booked to DJ, we performed the song, and it became a cracker, around the whole South Africa.
Yeah.
And I mean, just looking at the steps that I've taken, it has helped me a lot, because even when I'm booked at an event, it kind of like it gets me to understand and respect everyone, be respectful to everyone. I mean, from a security level, to a cleaner of the event, because I have been there myself.
Yeah.
I don't take anything for an advantage. Hence, I would encourage everyone, who actually wants to get somewhere, you need to start from the bottom, and starting from the bottom, actually. Because I mean, as much as you want to be the DJ, you need to understand how events works. You need to understand how door taking works. You need to understand the tech that goes into the stage. You need to understand how promotion works. And all these things. As much as your talent might be at play, because eventually you're gonna grow up as a business. So it's very important. I mean, if you can go through all of that stuff, by the time you get to a stage where you need to focus on your DJing, further, kind of like get into the industry, you already know, you know, and you also stand a less risk, you know, of being double crossed.
Yeah,
within this
true,
industry.
Sorry. I was actually thinking the other day, a lot of people, they want to be in the forefront and they forget the people in the background for that forefront, man. I still want to know who a road manager at Black Coffee is. I think that person plays a very huge role.
Yeah.
Like, in essence, let's leave with Black Coffee and look at the most prominent space estates whereby touring for an event is actually big that side. And people make good, decent living wages off of that. I want to know the road managers of those people to say, this is the guy who's going to be doing a project planning, which we're going to rotate this thing. Like you were saying, I think those are the tools that schools like yours are actually providing to people to say, let's not focus on only being the DJ, but also focus on being the guy who is an agent towards this guy. Yeah. Future plans. What are you looking for? Like, you've done all the gigs that you would have said, this is I would like to do.
Not all.
Not all. What is it that you still want to play?
Well, there's quite a lot, man. There's quite a lot. I would still want to do outside South Africa a lot, you know, quite a number of continents that I've never been to.
Yeah.
I'm also considering, I would love, obviously, I mean, it's always been my dream to actually focus on a live band as well.
Yeah,
you know, being part of a band. And I mean, this is something that I am currently doing, you know. Kind of like have a band. It's like some great projects that I'm currently doing as a band and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would love to take that more out and start hitting stages with that. And producing, man, more production, you know. And I would I definitely feel that I have a lot of role to play in the music, you know. In the music industry, and when I say, I mean as an artist myself, because, you know, as much as I say, you know, having to do a lot of things has you know, comes with sacrifice. So I feel like in the past years I've sacrificed my artistry. You know, I've been focusing on performances only, but not production.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of like trying to focus on production and hopefully getting something out soon. And I'm not sure if as Fosta, but we are focusing on an artist. There's an artist that we're working on currently as O2 Records, and trying to basically invest, you know, back in our upcoming artists, and giving them an opportunity. And basically this comes from all the networks that I've gained, you know, and you know, and the relevance that I've gained like throughout the past years, but now gaining that to plant it back basically. To someone else, to the next, to the next guys. Yeah,
your band, the band now. What are you guys focusing on, genre-wise?
So for me, like, it's world music, because also when I'm producing, I don't limit myself on a certain genre.
Yeah,
I produce all types of music. So with the band as well.
Yeah,
it's been we call it world music.
World music. Every other time you guys had an overseas speaker at the school, or you had people that are coming through either to check out the school, you would host events here. Are you still hosting those?
Yeah, we do host events and workshops as well. There's a couple that we are working on. The last one that we've hosted was with Moby Dixon, the digital music workshop, so the conference. And that was quite great, you know, with guests like such as DJ Spoo and so forth. We actually had Mhlabone and the broadcasting live as well. So and that was quite fruitful, you know, especially for alumni.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean the topics themselves, when you look at that, they were quite broad, you know, broader. Yeah. And Moby Dixon is quite a good friend as well. And we kind of like looking up at getting, you know, and doing more of his conferences as well. I mean he's a great example. I mean himself, you know, of and a great inspiration, you know, to our students, you know. So him being here quite often kind of like, you know, inspires, brings more inspiration to the space as well.
Yeah, man. I know COVID kind of killed a whole lot of things that were happening around, and people lost touch and they lost. What you guys are doing here is actually great, because you would find the workshops that you guys host, we got to see them before the school opened now was the CTMF would be happening, and then they'd have those workshops.
Sure.
Post that, it would be quiet for a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
long time.
yeah.
So now they're consistent now, and so that information is generally open to the public to say you can come in and be
Yeah.
part of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Foster, you were telling me about future plans for Iskila.
Iskila, yeah, as much as yeah, I mean, yeah, so we're looking at launching, more short courses, hopefully like focusing on the younger ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully more workshops as well that could be open for public.
Yeah. If I want to apply for the school at my age and want to do something.
Well, there are quite amazing short courses. We've got the Pro DJ, which is led by the Beat Bangers with our D,
Yeah.
which is like a 2 months, which is 8 weeks. You can get download links on our Instagram page, Bridges Academy. I mean, we've got the FL short course as well, which is led by Sipe Tebeka, who's also a wonderful, such an amazing producer from. From I mean, I don't like saying from Cape Town, but he's from Cape Town, but he's from Africa, because he's representing us around the world. So yeah, man, we've got quite amazing courses, that one can apply in, and the music, the piano lessons as well.
Yeah.
They all ages.
And these are all daytime courses. There's no nighttime courses.
So basically, the courses, the short courses, which are 2 months, are actually evening. So it's 4 p.m. till 6.
Yeah. Okay, I know. And then where do we catch you now? We know that you're going to be back in the studio, basically, making music again, and you're looking at doing your band tours and live performances. What else should we look out for from you?
I mean, for now, the band is still a project that's being kept indoors.
Yeah.
For now, it's not something that we're going out. But I mean, we've done some performances last year.
Yeah.
But there's nothing much planned around it because it's still being cooked. And then also, as much as I said, I'm currently in a in a time in my life, man, when I'm trying to kind of like realign myself. So performance-wise, I've kind of like stepped back a bit for now, just focusing on my mental well-being.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've just recently actually came back into office as well after a short sabbatical leave. So yeah, man, for now, and hopefully in summer or early summer next year, hopefully I'll be back.
Yeah, I know. That's cool.
For now, it's still like production, in the studio, and more work basically behind the scenes.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to put information, your scholar and Yaga Foster on the description of this video. And obviously, if you want to get in touch, generally Bridges for Music, DJ Fosta, and you can find more information as to what's happening at the school, what's happening with our favorite DJ here. And but Foster, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you telling me and my listeners about your story. And we'll get you back again sometime soon to see what new information you can share with us.
Cool.
How to advise the youngsters that still want to do a whole lot of things. People like me as well who still want to be in the game. And thank you very much for your time.
Nah, cool. Thanks a lot, Ndo-C. Thanks for having me on the show.
Before I leave, there's this sissy. She's part of Freshy Ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that song 205, 206, 207, around there. And I've always loved that song.
Okay.
I'd like you to introduce me to Leasisloy.
Uzolan.
Please. Please. And I'm sure a lot of us would want to hear what she's got to say.
Okay. I'll try my best. I'll try.
I got him on tape. Thank you, Putty.
Okay, cool. Thanks,
That's
Ndo-C.
cool.